Today, we're going to explore the incredible story of a man who went from the slums of India to the boardrooms of America's biggest corporations. But this isn't just a success story. Oh no, it's about a really stark warning he has for all of us about what we might be getting fundamentally wrong with AI. You see, his entire journey, his whole philosophy, really starts with this. It's an insight that was forged in extreme hardship. He says that when you're poor, it's not just that people ignore you, it's like they look right through you, as if you don't even exist. So to really understand his revolutionary ideas on business and technology, we have to go back. We have to understand the world that shaped him. A world where just getting through the day was the ultimate education. Okay, just try to picture this. He grew up in the slums of Secunderabad. His dad delivered telegrams. The entire family, all 8 of them, lived in a single room. Every month they had to choose between paying rent, having electricity, or buying food. It got so dire that his mother actually sold her wedding jewelry, the very symbol of her identity, just so he could get an education. He calls this his real education. While other kids were going to school to get degrees, he says poverty taught him 3 principles that have guided his whole life. Real empathy for other people, a fire in his belly to change his situation, and just an unbreakable hunger to succeed. So how in the world does that education translate to the corporate world? Well, he took those exact lessons, that empathy, fire, and hunger, and used them to completely transform some of the world's most iconic brands. After arriving in the US with almost no money, he used his unique point of view to solve huge problems for giants like Coca-Cola, Disney, and PepsiCo. But just look at what he did at Walmart. He took their grocery delivery business from $30 million to $5 billion, and he did it in just 18 months. That's incredible. So how did he even get his foot in the door? Well, his first big break came from a completely unorthodox approach. He didn't send a paper resume. No, he created an animated movie of his resume and sent it to a top executive. It just goes to show you, thinking differently is what gets you noticed. And this right here, this perfectly illustrates his method. Coca-Cola's warehouses were stuck in the past, designed for maybe 100 products while they were trying to juggle 3,000. So instead of just making small tweaks, he rethought the entire system from the ground up, cutting their inventory from more than 2 weeks down to just a single day. Now, what's really fascinating here is how he sees opportunity in frustration. When he lost his wallet at Disney, he didn't just see it as an inconvenience, he saw a chance for some radical innovation. That one moment of frustration led directly to the idea for the Magic Band, which completely changed the theme park experience for everyone. But despite all this incredible success in the tech world, this is where the story takes a turn. He has a very serious warning for all of us about the current AI boom, and trust me, he does not hold back. He's essentially asking us all to look past the hype and question whether any real value is actually being created. He believes the whole system is built on what might be a really fragile and potentially dangerous financial illusion. Okay, here's his core argument. He says the massive investment we're seeing in AI isn't driven by real-world demand. Instead, he says it's being fueled by this artificially inflated, self-serving loop of money. So here's how he breaks it down. A tech giant invests in a startup, but that money immediately comes right back to them because the startup is required to buy their expensive hardware. So the startup's valuation goes through the roof, but he's questioning if any real external value is actually being created in the process. So if that's the problem, what's his solution? Well, it's a philosophy he calls angelic intelligence, and it was born from a single, absolutely heartbreaking story. While he was building out Walmart's grocery delivery service, he learned about a customer named Margaret. She was 78, lived on the 4th floor of a building with no elevator, and she had this strangely precise routine. Every single Monday, like clockwork, she would tell the delivery person, "I'm going to the hospital tomorrow." It happened every week. And then, one week, her order just stopped. He later found out from her daughter that she had passed away. And the truth behind her routine is just devastating. Turns out, Margaret couldn't afford her heart medication, so she would ration her pills, taking only half of what she needed. By Tuesday, she'd have a heart-related attack and have to go to the emergency room just to get more. The insurance system saw a costly frequent flyer, but nobody saw a human being forced to make an impossible choice. And this tragedy is what led him to define this concept of angelic intelligence.
It's technology that doesn't just look at one piece of data in isolation. It's tech that would see the full context, the grocery orders, the fourth floor address, the weekly hospital trips, and realize that it's both more compassionate and ultimately cheaper to simply double Margaret's medication. So, what are the big takeaways from his incredible journey? From the slums to the boardroom? Well, he offers three really clear pieces of advice for navigating the world we're all living in today. First, he says you have to be digitally strong. You've got to master the tools. Second, and this one's huge, don't outsource your brain. Use AI as a powerful assistant for sure, but never, ever stop thinking for yourself. And third, always set great intentions. Whether you're helping your family or changing the world, that positive purpose is what really opens the path forward. Ultimately, Shekhar Natarajan's story leaves us with this one profound question. In our big rush to build the future, and in our obsession with artificial intelligence, are we designing systems that remember people like Margaret? Or are we building a world that forgets them all over again?